everybody, and welcome to the Golden Truth, Raw and Real. And I am so excited to announce this new show, and that these shows will be with co-host Sharon and Andrea. And I want to just let you know, I connected with Sharon about 2 years ago, and she was watching the radio shows, listening to the radio shows, and connected. And then all of a sudden, just recently, I mean, we're talking, 10 days ago, Sharon popped in and just said, "Hey, Linda, so Sharon, let us know what the scoop is about what happened."
Hello there. I'm so thrilled to be on here. Linda, it's so exciting. I feel so excited about all of this. I can only say that I was just led by Spirit as always, and all because I reached out to John Fellows and say, "Happy birthday," and he said, "I want to talk to you on the phone," and it was the first time. And in one of the first parts of the conversation, he said, "I hear you on the radio," and I'm like, "Really? Okay, nice, lovely." And I said, "Oh, DB2," and then immediately I heard Spirit say, Linda, and then I just reached out to you. So it's just so magical, and that's the way it happened. That's the truth.
It is. It's crazy. And so now here we are bringing the truth to the whole world and making an impact and picking up the world, which I want to really let everybody know background about Sharon, because you guys are used to me having the show with interviewing guests, and this is completely different. We're co-hosting the show together. So Sharon is an Illumined. I cannot get that word.
That's okay.
Illumined Twinflame, the reincarnation of Queen Nefertiti, the biblical female Moses, and also the goddess Isis, the full embodiment of the divine feminine. She is here to help restore humanity to the center and place of unconditional love within the heart. She is an empathic reader, healer, here for helping others to love themselves, communicate better and effectively, and to live their highest level of joy within themselves. She has the ability to see and feel into the past and the present to assist humanity with the awakening, with the healing, and the return to love. Sharon connects to spirit through spirit guides, loved ones, and ones who have crossed over, ascended masters, sometimes straight from divine source. She provides soul reading, twin flame readings, and coaching and dream interpretation. This is just the beginning, and she is here to help restore the planet through this awakening, healing, and ascension through love and laughter. And let me tell you, she will keep you laughing. She's so funny. I just love her. And she says, "The truth shall set us free," which is so true. And as for myself, I'm here to raise the consciousness, awakening humanity, and open the hearts of humanity by using my voice through the radio and TV. I am a radio, TV show host, personality, relationships coach, author, and speaker. I'm here to help you tap in and be turned on to restore romance and intimacy in your relationship by diving deep within yourself to see your truth, to live a life of freedom, joy, happiness, empowerment, and love. And in these shows, we will be delivering to you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, with discussions of the Christ consciousness and the light and what it truly means for all of us. We touch on subject matters of looking within and digging deep into pain and sorrow so that each person can heal and return to a life of living freely. And that's really what we're here to be doing. But I want to say before we even start talking, for anybody who's got a question, please call in. We will answer these questions live. So call into 347-850-8423. For anyone calling out of the country, call 001-347-850-8423. And today's topic is love and conscious sexuality. Oh, hey. Right? It's all about love.
Yes, it is. It's all about love. It's all about love. And what does love mean for all of us, and coming back into that place of love. And there's so many different levels of love, and how we are connecting consciously with love. Consciously.
Absolutely. Well, and I think that, we talk about love, and it's like, what? People, I think there's such a misconception of what love really is. People think they know what it is, but don't really know, because we're always striving for that, right? So there's this question of, I feel like the people are saying, what is love? And I know for me, I feel love is something that, it's like when you see the sunset and there's that feeling of, it's It's when you see a baby. It's when we love ourselves. It's when you see the trees and just life. There's just this feeling of, oh, it feels so good. That to me is, and it goes much deeper than that too, but I feel that's really love to do.
Yes, and also with love, when I think about love and the essence of true love, which is where we're heading back to, is the true essence of love, and it starts with connecting. It starts with connecting, and that connection starts from a level of sensuality as far as touching, tasting, feeling, smelling. You know, when we don't stay connected to one another, then things start to fall apart. And so this is how are we able to bring ourselves back together again, in love, staying in love, being in love, and continuously being an expression of love, because that is the natural state to who we are. And, you know, we're all doing this together. We're all doing this together. And allowing ourselves to unfold and unravel and pull out all the other stuff that doesn't serve us, and staying in love and being in love. Because my question to all of you is, have you been in love? Have you ever imagined if the whole world is making love together? What would that do for all of us? And it's something for you to think about, really, truly. Where do we start? And then when we do start, how do we stay in love? How do we keep ourselves elevated in love and staying in love? That's the key question.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's, like you said, too, that this whole about connecting, because we know as we walk through life and we go in different places, you know, that the technology has disconnected it but connected us. So it's like this, you know, duality, I guess you could say. You know, it's good, but it's bad, right? So with the texting and with, you know, on Facebook, on, you know, PMing and all that has really disconnected us. When we're on the street, we're in the grocery store, we find people not really connecting. And what we're saying is that it is about the love. It is about the connection. And we have to connect with people. We have to recognize people as opposed to being in our own little world.
Yes, and, you know, one of the things I do talk about when you speak of that is that the highest level of connection truly is seeing each other in person. The next level after that is talking on the phone. When we allow ourselves to stay connected and be in communication with one another and having eye contact, the visual, touching, feeling, hugging, caressing, all of that, and when we touch each other, and then we start to touch within our hearts, seeing someone visually, that's another part of sensuality and touching. You see, bringing ourselves together in that way as well. Because so much has been dying, you know, in the world, and that's because we are not connecting the way that we should. Too much emphasis on texting and hiding behind, you know, the words, hiding behind something, you know, instead of allowing ourselves to be, and being authentic with ourselves in that way. And then I still say that staying in love and being in love is one of the highest, grandest version of ourselves and connecting to God. Do you know what it means to be making love to the world? Do you know what it means to be making love to God? That's what this is all about. And you may not understand that concept right now, but that's what we're here for, to help you to get to that path of remembering yourselves and remembering yourselves as the sexual beings that we are.
Absolutely. Well, two things. I know when we talk about connecting and about really relating with one another, it's like babies. Babies have to have affection. They have to be touched. We are the same way as adults. We have to have that touch. We have to have that connection, that communication, that dynamic that happens between two people. Because when it doesn't, then like you were saying, well, we had talked before about that, how you just die. Things just kind of fall apart. And then talking about making love, because a lot of the listeners are probably saying, making love to the world? Are you kidding? So I think it's really good for us to give our spin on both, really, what making love to the world, what that really is. And for me, it really is about loving life. It's looking at life very different. It's connecting. It's loving these people, loving your neighbor. It's like we have in the Bible, love thy neighbor, right? It's really loving everything, not looking at anything as, or anyone as, oh, that person's really different. Oh, that person's not. You know what I mean? It's really, that's where, to me, making love really is. It's in that connection, what we're talking about.
Yes, and it's a connection that goes very deep. And, as you did make reference to the baby, I talk about that quite a lot, where when the baby is born, as soon as that baby is born, if there is no contact with that baby, and it's a feeling thing, because we have all these senses that God has given us with the sight, the hearing, the touching, tasting, and all of that together, if the baby does not feel that within their soul from the time they're born, they're going to die. And so when we don't feel that connection with ourselves, I don't care what age you are or what parts of the world you're at, if you're not connecting with someone or something, you feel, you start to lead towards a sense of bitterness or irritation, annoying, and things just start to close down on you eventually, and it starts to hurt. It starts to feel painful. And so even though we have the self-love, there is still always a part of us that chooses to connect. And it's so important to stay connected to one another and staying in that essence of love. And how do we do that? It still plays a part. It's like I gave an example to my family about a year and a half ago. And I told them how God said to me straight, this is like plugging yourself into the outlet, okay? And we are connected to God like an umbilical cord. If you stay disconnected, which is a part of us connecting to one another, if you stay disconnected, then what happens? You start to feel pain. Somehow along the line, there's something created. Either you're going to create the thorns and the thistles, or you have the beautiful rose. So what do you choose? What do you choose? And if you plug in the lamp into the outlet and you plug it out, then there's no light, there's no energy that's coming through from staying plugged into each other. We are all one, and that's a fact. That's what it is.
Yeah.
See? It makes sense. Mm-hmm.
And when you disconnect from yourself, you're disconnected from Source, which is God, Spirit, whatever you want.
Yes.
And I think what's really interesting, too, is what you said, and I think it's really good to bring up as well, because I feel that giving people really an understanding of when we are disconnected and we're not connected, you had mentioned like everything shuts down. We're talking, and this is about the topic of tonight, love and conscious sexuality. The womb, we shut down completely. So if you want to be in an intimate relationship and you're not connected to yourself, to life, to others, that's not going to, there's not going to be this deep, profound relationship that I feel that we are all seeking for. We're wanting this deep, profound relationship with someone. And if you are not connected, then you're going to shut down that wound as well. And that's just not going to work. Yeah.
I also have an example of something that's shown to me from Spirit all the time, is that we are all sexual beings, and that is how we've been created from the beginning of time. I think half of the world doesn't even know that you're creating things through sexual energy. It's a synergistic energy in motion, something like that. So it's not about just penetration. It's an energy. We are a force. And it's for you to wake up that force within you, like when they say, may the force be with you, And so, but it's for you to tap into that and to remember yourselves as that energetic force. When we are creating things sexually, everything comes to life. You give birth to something, because, it's like I talk about it in my book where the penis enters the vagina, and they go into the vagina, the seeds are planted. Then the water, you need the water and everything. The womb is what? It's water, right? The baby has to go in the water, and everything comes to life when we plant the seeds and you have the water. If you don't have the water, then it's going to what? It's going to die. You see? And so we're always creating things from the womb aspect, and that's why it's so important to understand that your body is truly a temple. Truly a temple. That is how things are created. That's how we stay connected. That's how we bring things to life. It's like everything has meaning. We are a definition of love. We are the epitome of love. And this energy that we have is so powerful, but it's for us to understand it and to finally work with it, so that way we start to create a magical, beautiful world again. But each one of us is responsible for that.
Absolutely. And it seems like, too, when we talk about, the men are probably wondering, well, what about me? I don't have a womb, right? So I feel that it doesn't matter. Whether you have a penis or whether you have a vagina, it doesn't matter. You're still going to end up shutting down. It may not, where you may have problems with erections. You may have, just a whole bunch of things can happen. So I think it's really important that people pay attention, are really listening to how important it is about the connection.
Yes, and even to follow with what you're saying with the males, understanding that you do have a womb because it's energetic, you know, and then there's also the connection you have to your counterpart, your feminine, you see? So that also plays a role and a part in it, very much so.
Well, and how, I guess, too, going into, well, we've kind of talked about love and how love really goes into this conscious sexuality. Because, you know, we hear of sexuality, and there's such a misconception of sexuality because when we think about it, because we've been programmed from the beginning of time, you know, the commercials, the radio, everything is, there's all schools, everything is constantly programming us. And so we've got this idea that we hear about sexuality and we think of, oh my gosh, it's sex, right? And we know that it's not the lower chakras. It's really about coming into, I feel that this energy of this connection that we build upon, and it's me, I feel that this whole begins with the sensuality of the five senses and builds and moves down into those lower chakras. And that's where we become conscious, right? To me, it's like conscious up here and knowing that using the five senses. So now we're in awareness of what we're doing, right? So I think to bring in the conversation around conscious, what that really means. And that's, to me, I'm saying what that means is it's about knowing, recognizing, being in awareness of what you are doing at the time you are doing it, right? And so you're moving from those five senses to the lower chakras, and then we have this energy build up that creates this explosion, this ecstasy, this, you know, eruption, right, of this energy of orgasm or whatever. So it's not just the lower half.
Yes, that's correct. And, you know, when I think of sensuality from what's shown to me from Spirit always is that's the physical aspect of the tasting, touching, smelling, hearing, feeling. And then the sexual aspect of ourselves is what's in movement. And this is about us combining this together. Now, most average people don't even know they have chakras. They don't even know what chakras mean. It's important for you to understand yourself. Your body is not, you're not your body. You are a soul that's here expressing yourself through the body. You're a soul expression. The soul longs and desires to know itself through the body. And so the physical body, how most people operate from, is from 7 chakras. When you start to awaken, you open up all of your chakras. When all of your chakras are opened up, that leads to something more delightful because you start to waken yourselves up to so much more things. And then as you are in the act of creating and making love, and, you know, that is the highest level to reach to God. That's the highest level of consciousness. And most people do not know that. So it's important for you to know that because that is what creates things. That's what creates everything in your life. That's what makes everything magical. And so it's almost like something spinning on a frequency, and we're all on different frequency bands, you know, like turning on the radio, and you have different stations, and so some of us are high, some of us are low. So it's a matter of opening up all of yourself as the energy to who you are. I always refer to the other side. So when you all hear me say the other side, what's the other side? The other side is where our loved ones reside. And that includes your angels, our guides, and you know, ascended masters. And it's not a place that you're going up in the sky. Please know that the truth is that it's right here within ourselves, our heart. It's right here. Okay, paradise is here. Heaven is now here. Nowhere, now here, is what I say. And so this is how do we get to that heavenly blissfulness, because that is what we all desire. Truly desire is to be in heavenly bliss. And that's a part of heavenly blissfulness. And most people, they stay away from connecting to love. They run away from it. And that means that you, most of the time, don't want to face yourselves and looking at the mirrors. The mirror, where's the mirror? Oh, there's so many mirrors. You have the mirror in the bathroom, you have the mirror for those, or wherever you have mirror. And you also have the mirrors of each other. You know, if you feel that you can't face someone, or you can't face your issues, then that's a sign for you. That's a part of that self-love, you know. The self-love comes first. Then you have the love of your divine complement, or your beloved, or your twin flame. And then you also have the love that you have for humanity. It's like everything starts from you, then your partner, and then the collective world together.
Yeah. We have a caller from area code 514. Hello, caller from area code 514.
Yes, it's Celine. How are you?
Hi, Celine. How are you?
Good. I love your show. Congratulations. It's very interesting, and I have actually a question, if I may.
Yeah.
A few years ago, I don't know if I had told you this, Sharon, in one of our conversations, but while meditating, Archangel Michael appeared in one of my meditations, and he held on to me, and I had a sudden orgasm. And when that happened, and I was looking deep in his blue eyes, and I had an orgasm, and then we shot up through the sky and up into a different dimension.
Yes.
Do you know anything about this?
Yes, it happened to me also. It actually did happen to me. And who took me up was Yeshua. And it's like what's happening is that you are going through, because there's different levels of awakening that you're going through. And so it starts from the Kundalini energy also that happens within you. And usually that's based on something that could be triggered either from a twin flame, or if you're doing any type of the, meditations and so on and so forth, it can be triggered in any way. And so what happens is like your soul is still attached to your body, and then it's like you go and you're ascending out of your body, but you're attached to your body, and it's like you see the stars, and the stars is all of us. It's all of us, and then you start to feel that magnanimous energy, and it's a whole full body orgasm. Most people have not had that experience to know what is a full body orgasm. It's not necessarily because you have a partner with you. It happens within you, with you. And so, but when you have that with your partner who's also on the same level of consciousness as you, that is what forms the holy triad, which is, we're going to further go into that as we go into more shows. So that's what you're experiencing. So it's an awesome experience. You might have it sometimes. It may randomly happen again, because it happened to me when I was driving. I was like, what is this? What does this mean? And you feel blissful because it brings you on an energy of blissfulness, because everyone on the other side is already sexually creating and also merging and in sexual energy. So this is how we're going to be doing this. This has never happened before. And how Spirit showed it to me is that this is happening where we're all doing it together while we're in the body. That's the difference. This is a new concept. This is what the ascension, part of the ascension is, and being in the higher dimensions until eventually we are not going to have all the sorrow and the pain in the world. That feeling of blissfulness is wonderful. Wasn't it wonderful?
It is wonderful, and it brings up the question that when sometimes you connect with guides, can you bring up that feeling so that you can, rise up again, or is it not necessary? It's not recommended?
Yes, it can. It does come up again, and when it does come up again, it usually happens, like for me when I notice, because I make a lot of observation of myself. I truly always make an observation of things. I don't judge anything. I always pay attention to it. And I notice whenever it happens through me, because I don't say it happens to me, things happen through ourselves. And when it happens, it's usually when you're clearing up something, like you're working through some old baggage or something that triggered you with someone. I talk about that, anybody that you get offended by or pisses you off, or, something that triggers within you is something for you to work with. And each time you're going up levels, because that's a part of what the Bible talks about, Jacob's ladder. You go up, you come down, ascending and descending. You're ascending and descending. And we go through levels of awakening, levels of ascending. And sometimes, when I ask God, I say, well, how high can we go? And you can go as high as we can go. And then sometimes we go down deeper and deeper and deeper. And sometimes when you go down deeper and deeper and deeper, you might end up going up another higher level, and you're going to feel that blissfulness. It's almost like God is teasing us, saying, hey, I'm going to give you a taste of this, but you got to work on that. Come back down again. It's like, oh, no, So that's what it's like. So there's no set way to know.
So the descending could be looked at as a contrast that we go through, brought on by old beliefs that we need to clear, no?
Yes. It's more than just old beliefs. It could be something through your own bloodline, something passed down through history with your family, beliefs and fear, especially the fear factor. The fear factor plays a major role on the blocks that most humans have. And most of these blocks can be removed so simple and easily. I talk about that a lot, and, how do we clear the blocks, and then we can, keep yourself elevated in the meantime. And I'm saying if you have to cry it out, scream it out, talk it out, do that, because it's important to express things out and not hold it in. When you hold it in, you're bringing on what? More pain. Yeah. And you know, it's almost like you get to a point where you start to when you have your tears or what you're going through, that you start to laugh with it. And then this is how we are blending in both worlds, you know, the spiritual and the physical. Because, you know, while we're in the body, we're still going through the mechanical ways of life, and that's how are we gonna all work together, helping one another through all these processes, so that way at some point we'll just be completely blissfully happy all the time. All the time. Yes.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Sharon.
You're so welcome, Celine.
Thank you so much.
I love you both so much. Thank you.
Love you too.
Thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, I love your questions too, Celine.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. So that's great. So it brought, you know, it kind of, when we were talking about just the, you know, this whole orgasmic, right, of the body, that people can have these experiences, was such a great call, because it just shows other people that this really does happen. And I feel that, really, you know, people are wondering, how can this happen to me? And I feel that when we become aware and we awaken, we don't have a lot of time to go into awakening. Maybe that'll be one of the next episodes that we have, one of the next shows, to go into that. But to really, to be in awareness, to start connecting, to start loving, to start really finding out who you are as an individual, you know, and really opening up yourself. It's like, you know, how the flower just is closed and all of a sudden it just blossoms and opens up. I feel that when we start doing that and we start being loved and feeling love, then we are open for that. That's the highest vibration, right? And so then we're open to be able to receive. And then these are how I feel that things can happen to people. That was a great call.
And in conjunction to that, too, it's really coming back to the place of self-realization, actually. And self-realization is where you are remembering yourself from your soul self, not the identity that you've taken on while you've incarnated on the planet. And so it's important for everybody, everything we're talking is the truth. You have been here many, many times. So think of it as that you've accumulated a lot of dirt and grime and grease and all kinds of shit for centuries after centuries. And this is a work. It's work. It takes work. But you think about it, do you choose to want to suffer? Because I ask people, when they ask me questions, the same question over and over again, I'm like, do you love suffering? Do you like that? No, then okay, then you have to face what it is. If you keep running, you're just going to keep running around in circles. You're not getting anywhere. And then the same thing that God is going to be showing you the signs. What is it that you can do? And all you have to do is ask, and trust me, Spirit is going to guide you to the right people, the right places for you to start working on yourself, to feel what it's like to have a full body orgasm. That is the nature to who we are. That is the truth. We're not here to work and just make living with money. You know, we are here as beings to live life to the fullest, in truth. Yeah. That's what this is. And so that means that you're working within yourself and heading into a place of self-realization. You remember who you are from your soul perspective, okay? Because we're all seeing things on different perspectives also. But your soul is what's expressing, and you're coming back to the pure essence of your soul, pure essence. So it's like as if you've gone through the washing machine, as Mother God shows it to me, and, you know, sometimes you got to put a little, stain lifter, and then you got to work on it again, and you come back to the machine again, and you go work on it again, and that's what it is. It's a process, and it's a matter of patience, love, wisdom, and not judging yourself through it. But just look at what you have to look forward to. Look at what you have to look forward to. Heaven. On
Absolutely.
earth.
Well, something you mentioned, too, about a process, we'll kind of wrap up, and I think to really give people some tips as to what they can do to really, things that they can do to start this awakening, to start this process of really connecting. What we've talked about is really expressing and knowing that you are not this, right, that you are the spirit that's moving constantly. Also, connecting, awakening, and facing your fears is so important. As they say, fear is false evidence appearing
real. That's right. Facing your fears is one of the greatest things you could do to start through your awakening. And while you're going through it, to keep yourselves elevated, is listen to music, dance, laughter, comedy, and of course the best thing of all is making love. But that's when you're consciously with, on the same conscious energy, not just lower vibration. That is one of the keys you can do while you're going through the process.
And I want to, I guess we can probably talk about that, because I think that's going to be really important, conscious energy. So we'll leave you with that, exactly, to know what that is, and we'll probably tap on that next week. And our shows are always every Wednesday evening at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And, so thank you for all the listeners who called in, the people who called in, the listeners who joined us, the ones who will be joining us via YouTube. We really thank you so much. And please follow, subscribe, comment, and like us on our YouTube channel, The Golden Truth Raw and Real, and our Facebook page, The Golden Truth Raw and Real, because we will be having a lot of information. You will find out when the shows are, so you really want to be tapped in and just stay tuned to find out what's going to be happening, what we're going to be talking about.
And don't be afraid to ask questions.
We love, please call in and ask questions, because it'll help, really all of humanity, by your questions and how we can help you and answer those. So really, thanks again for everybody out there, and we'll see you next Wednesday.
We'll see you next Wednesday. We love you, and thank you for being on the show.
Awesome. Love you guys. Bye.